Good to be with you on this Wednesday. And I'd like to encourage you here in the middle of this week to look at everything from a spiritual biblical perspective. The Apostle Paul faced opposition his entire life once he was saved. He had to run for his life from Damascus after he was converted there. He then wasn't even fully accepted by the apostles initially. Barnabas took him and discipled him. And over we find him under conflict with the Sanhedrin, who were furious that he had turned on them. And then, of course, the Roman government and the Greeks. He was beaten, he was stoned, he was shipwrecked. He went through much in his life. And yet, in the midst of all that opposition and certainly political upheaval, this man had a deep peace in his heart. Rejoice in the Lord, and again I say rejoice, he says in Philippians chapter 4. He knew the joy of the Lord. He understood what the fruit of the Spirit was. His life was focused on what was truly important. And in the last chapter that the Spirit of God inspired him to write, just before his martyrdom, he speaks of the life that he has lived and charged Timothy and all of us to be faithful unto the end. And he talks about the fact that he was ready to be offered. He wasn't afraid of death. Life was eternal to him. He just considered it a privilege to serve the Lord. You know, I'm afraid many believers, heaven is somewhat here. We look at having the good life now, and so if anything's going to interrupt that, then we get upset. But if we don't expect the good life now, we expect the inner good life, of course, but not the outer good life. If God gives us good things, wonderful. If we have things comfortable, wonderful. But if things aren't so comfortable, that's also wonderful, because God can use that, and God can use the circumstances for us to serve him, but we're thinking eternally. And that's what he had in mind as he finished that testimony after he said, I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. He says, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. That would be any of us if we so have an eternal view that we look forward to Christ's coming. And so today, to be encouraged, let's get our minds off of temporal things. Let's get off of worrying about ourselves. Let's get the big picture, what God wants us to accomplish, to realize that sometimes there are going to be difficulties, but it is a thrill to be able to be served, to serve the Lord, and to see him meet the deep need of our heart as we serve him, even through difficult times. And let's keep our eye on eternity. The trumpet could sound today. Jesus is coming. There will be that glorious reunion when we get to heaven. God is working. And so we need to be preparing for eternity. Death will come sooner than we realize. Life goes so quickly. So our hope must not be on this earth. Our hope must be in heaven. And so I encourage you to allow the Spirit of God to lift you over present circumstances, not to depend on anything humanly, but to look to serving the Lord, look to eternity, and God will bring great blessing to your soul if you have that perspective to serve him with all of your life.